Um, thank you so much, Mark, for coming in and doing this session, this webinar for us. You know, like when I came to this country 20 years ago, right? I didn't know the importance of will and trust
Right.
because that was not something that you normally do. Like people usually do in old age in India. That's what I was told like and saw. And so we didn't do our will and trust like just till 3 years ago. So
Mhm.
we were although we've been here for 22 decades, thank God nothing bad happened, so that's the thing. But with how things are going, so thought this session would be educational for everybody, and your expertise, in this business definitely, shed more light and also about what Netla can offer. That would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
awesome. And we have people from like Portland, Dallas, all over US, like have been invited. So Seattle, like
Good.
this year. Yeah.
Good. Yeah. This is a product for everybody, no matter where you live or what status you are here in the US. It doesn't matter when it comes to estate planning. So I'm glad that there's a good array of people that are here. So I'm happy about that.
Awesome. And that was the question that someone asked me, is it for H1? Does H1 need a will and trust?
Absolutely. It's for everybody. Everybody.
Okay. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah. But do we want to go ahead and get started?
Let's get started, Mark. Yeah.
Okay, let me go ahead and share my screen so you don't have to look at me. Let's look at what's important, right? And that's the slides. And so thank you, everybody. I'll just do a quick introduction. My name is Mark Sternman. I'm the Vice President of NetLaw. So tonight we're going to talk about what NetLaw is. We're going to talk about what estate planning is and why it's so important. We're going to talk about all the documents that encompass a full and complete and comprehensive estate plan and why you need each and every one of those documents. And then at the end, we're going to talk about the ramification part. What happens if I pass away and I haven't done this? What's the ramifications to my family? So we're going to do all that in about 15, 20 minutes. Then we'll open up the floor to any questions that you have. So, but I love this first slide. This is the first slide that I share in almost every one of my presentations. Because this slide, without saying anything, tells you exactly why we need to do our estate plan. And it's family, right? We don't do our estate planning for ourselves. One day we're going to pass away. But when that day comes, we want to make sure that we have in place an estate plan set up so that our family is taken care of. We want to make sure that all of the assets that we've acquired through our life, we want to make sure that those assets get distributed to our beneficiaries in the most cost effective way and the most time efficient way. So that's what we do every day at NetLaw. We help families create their estate planning documents. So, what is NetLaw? NetLaw is an IT company. We're a document creation company that was created out of an estate planning law firm called the Hargrove Firm in Louisville, Kentucky. That's where I'm at. It's where our corporate office is at. And the reason that our law firm created this sub company, NetLaw, this IT company, was because back in 2012, we read in a Bloomberg report that said that 60% of Americans did not have their will. And that was concerning to us, right? Because we're in estate planning. 60% of Americans aren't doing their will. Why is that? Because if you ask anyone, hey, do you have your will and trust? Most people will say no. But they always follow up with, I know I need to do that. Because we know how important having that will and trust in place is, but yet this is one of the biggest things that people procrastinate on. So, of course, we did our research and we wanted to find out why exactly do people procrastinate on such an important task? And we found two reasons. One was cost. Of course, it's always cost, right? And it is. It's expensive to go in and see an attorney, sit down with him or her, and have them create your estate planning documents. But the second reason that we found was even more concerning than just cost. The second reason was people had the misconception that if they weren't multimillionaires, if they didn't own businesses, if they didn't own multiple properties, estate planning wasn't for them. That's for the ultra wealthy people. Nothing can be farther from the truth. If you own a house or a car or you have a bank account, you have an estate and you need to take care of it. If you don't take care of it, the state that you live in will come in and take care of it for you. And nobody wants that, right? We don't want any kind of government interference when it comes to our estate. So that's exactly why our law firm created NetLaw. So NetLaw is a software that was created by attorneys so that you can use this software to create your estate planning documents online in the convenience of your home. Same exact documents you get in a law firm, you're getting using our software because we had attorneys from all 50 states come in and help us build our software. So whether you're in California, you're in Oregon, you're in Texas, doesn't matter. You're going to receive state-specific legal documents using this software. And I always compare this software to like QuickBooks or TurboTax, right? 10 years ago, 15 years ago, people were doing their taxes online. Now, who doesn't do their taxes online, right? Same thing with your estate plan. The future is online. Using this platform created by attorneys to do it yourself. That makes it more cost effective and a whole lot easier to use. And we are the only company that has ever won the James Keene Award from the American Bar Association for estate planning. This award is handed out each year to the company that has the best online delivery of legal documents. And I'm going to say that again because it's important. The best online delivery of legal documents from the American Bar Association. And the only reason that I bring this up is because, well, two reasons really. One, I'm proud of it. But two, I always get the question, this looks great, Mark, but shouldn't I really go see an attorney about this? If you want to, no one's going to say that's a bad idea. But from the statistics, we know you're not going to do that. You're looking for a more convenient and more cost-effective way. This is it, a company that has been recognized by the American Bar Association. And these are all the documents that you get in our full, complete premium probate avoidance package. And as you can see, includes free spouses plan. So one plan covers both spouses' documents. Both spouses get to create all the documents that you see here in the list. And we're going to run down this list and make sure that you have a full understanding of all of these documents. And I know pretty much everybody has already read the list and they go, oh, these documents sound familiar. And they do. We've all heard of these documents. But let's dive a little bit deeper into why we need each and every one of them. I always start with the will. To me, the will is the most important document. Yes, the trust is important and it works hand in hand with your will. But to me, the will is the most important document because there's really two reasons why we create our will. One, we're going to name executors. These are the people who are going to be in control when you pass away. This is the person or people that will make sure that all of your assets get distributed to your beneficiary. This is the person who is going to file your will with the county records department when you pass. This is the person who's going to file your taxes at the end of the year. This is the person who's going to pay off all of your creditors. So your executor is a very important person. Not only do you name your main executors, but you also get to list successors or your backups. So you always have an array of people to help out when that time comes. The second reason we do our will is guardians. Making sure that if mom and dad pass away and they have underage children, someone is in place to come in and raise those kids. We can go ahead and list our guardians in our will as well, making sure that there is someone in place to raise our kids. And we're going to talk about all of this a little bit later when it comes to the ramification part, but that's why we really do our will. Second line item is our children's trust. Children's trust is designed for those parents, again, that have underage children. Mom and dad pass away, but kids still are not majors. They're still minors. When do you want your child to receive their inheritance? Do you want them to receive everything at age 18? And most parents will say, heck yeah. If me and mom or me and dad passed away, of course we want the kids to get everything at age 18. And that sounds right. Until we remember they're 18. Let's think about what we will be giving our kids. And I'm going to be very conservative. One house, bank accounts, stock accounts, life insurance, and 401k. I'm going to stop there. That's easily $500,000 to $1 million in today's world. Very conservatively. Very conservatively. And you're going to drop that into an 18-year-old's lap. Now, I'm not speaking for your kids. They may be great kids and very responsible. Let me tell you what I would have done with that money if I was 18 and my parents passed away. I would have had a great time for 2 or 3 years. Best years of my life. I have $1 million to go out and do whatever I want with. And I'm not calling Ramya or Harry and saying, I got all this money, help me invest it for the future. No 18-year-old is going to say that. They're going to go out and blow it. But with the Children's Trust, the parents have the protection they need for their children. The Children's Trust allows you to distribute their inheritance out to them in installments. Maybe a little bit at 21, maybe a little bit at 25, maybe the rest at 30. The amount that you give them and at what age is totally up to you. Parents love this option because they're scared their kids are going to blow right through it. Having the ability to dictate when your kids get it, still, even after you've passed away, you still are in control. Parents love that option. Third line item, financial power of attorney. I think we all know what that is, right? Naming someone who is going to take care of our finances if we become incapacitated, whether we're sick, we're in the hospital. Maybe it's that we've got up to that golden age and our minds just aren't as sharp and we can't handle our bills. We can't handle those decisions anymore. This is where we can name someone who can come in and handle all of our financial decisions for ourselves. We also have 3 healthcare documents. I said in the beginning that this was a comprehensive plan. Not only are we taking care of your finances, but we're taking care of your healthcare decisions as well. Healthcare surrogate is your medical POA. Who's talking to the doctors and nurses on your behalf if you can't speak for yourself? The great thing is the HIPAA authorization form grants access to all of your medical charts to your healthcare surrogate or anyone else of your choosing so that they can make that informed decision. They can have that good conversation with the doctors. And the last healthcare document is your advance directives, your end-of-life decisions. What do you want to happen at end of life? Do you want to be hooked up to a machine and kept alive? Fed nutrition? Or do you just want to pass naturally? Keep me out of pain, of course, but let me pass naturally. The decision is yours and no one else's. You know what you want. Having these documents in place assures that all of your decisions will be followed through with. We even have a pet trust. So if you have a pet and you pass away, someone's got to take that pet, right? You can leave money behind for the well-being of that animal so that that person can use it for vet bills, food, boarding, whatever they need. And then probably the document that I get 90% of my questions on every day. And that's the probate avoidance revocable living trust. This is a document that you can create that works hand in hand with your will. Now, yes, this will is a pour-over will into the trust. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But having the trust in place allows you to transfer your assets that do not have named beneficiaries, like your house, cars, businesses, rental properties. You can transfer your major assets that do not have named beneficiaries out of your name and into the ownership of the trust. And I know what you're thinking. Why in the world would I want to do that? Here's why. Because if you do not have a trust in place and those assets into the ownership of the trust, those assets will go through probate court. Here's what probate is. Probate's a bad word. Probate happens when you don't have a trust. You pass away, the state comes in and freezes all of your assets that do not have named beneficiaries. Again, house, cars, businesses, rental properties. All of those assets get frozen. They do not get passed to your beneficiaries. The state comes in and freezes those assets because their job is to take care of the creditors, not your family members, not your beneficiaries. They're worried about getting the creditors paid off. That's why they come in and freeze the assets, and they make sure that you pay off every creditor first. Probate lasts usually 6 months to a year. That's how long those assets are going to be frozen. The state comes in, freezes everything. The assets do not pass to the beneficiaries, but they stay frozen according to state law. Once the probate process is over, then what's left gets transferred to your beneficiaries. But if you have this trust in place and you transfer those assets into the ownership of the trust, they automatically avoid probate and they pass to your beneficiaries right away. That's why having the will and trust is important. And that's exactly why everybody says will and trust, because both are so very needed. Again, the will is where we list everything, who our executors are, who our guardians are. Inside the trust is going to be all of our assets and who the beneficiaries are. And it's going to let us transfer those assets into the ownership of the trust so that everything gets passed to our beneficiaries without going through probate. And we even have a 7-day money back guarantee. Try it out. If you don't like it for any reason, we'll give you your money back, as long as you haven't downloaded your documents. All of this for both spouses. Not only do you get to create all of these documents, but this is a software. At any time, you can log back into your account and you can update your documents free of charge for any life event that happens. Most companies charge about $10 to $30 a month to keep your account open and active. We don't charge anything. You pay the one-time fee to get set up, and you have lifetime free access to edit your documents at any time so that you can protect your legacy. So why is estate planning so important? We talked about it, right? We talked about why a company like NetLaw is needed. We talked about all the documents and why each and every one of them is so important. And we talked about the ability to go back in and edit your documents at any time free of charge. But the last 4 slides I'm going to show you, we're going to talk about the ramification part. Ramifications. I pass away and I didn't do this. What's the effect that it's going to cause to my family? Most people just assume that if I pass away, my spouse gets everything. That is not true here in the U.S. Never. So the only legal term I'll use tonight is intestate. And intestate means that you passed away and you didn't have a will. So the state comes in and says, okay, you didn't have a will. You didn't let us know how you wanted your assets distributed. We're going to distribute them for you. And I always like doing this when I'm in person at shows and stuff, because I will ask people to raise their hand if you don't have a will. And 3/4 of the room always raises their hand. And I tell them to put their hand down because you do have a will. The state has a will for you. You're not going to like that will, but they have a will for you. That's what intestate is. If you don't create your will and trust and list those assets and who those beneficiaries are, the state will dictate how your assets are distributed. Nobody wants any kind of government interference, especially when it comes to our estate. But that's what's going to happen if we don't have a will. And speaking of government interference, if you have children under the age of 18 and both mom and dad pass away, did you know a judge will come in and dictate who gets custody of your kids? This is a true statement. If you don't have a will and both mom and dad pass away, car wreck, both get sick, something happens, a judge will decide who gets custody of your kids. Not only custody, but that person will be in control of the inheritance that you left behind for your child. We know who's best to raise our kids. Don't leave it up to a judge to hopefully make that right decision. And we want to avoid probate for our executors and our beneficiaries. We want our beneficiaries to get the assets right away. Without creating this trust and without transferring the assets into the name of the trust, we're setting them up for a long-term agony process. If they fight probate, they have to hire an attorney, they have to go to court. It's going to cost $6,000 to $10,000. And that's if no one can test anything. Simply creating this will or this trust that's already in your account and transferring those assets into your trust. And I know when I talk about transferring the assets into your trust, you're probably thinking, oh my God, this sounds so difficult. Believe me, it is not. It's simply most of the time a deed transfer at the county clerk's office. I did mine about 3 years ago. It took me 15 minutes and about $79 at the county clerk's office. It was quick and easy. We have a funding instruction sheet that walks you through how to transfer your assets into the ownership of the trust. Just follow the instructions. It's very simple. Last slide, then I'll answer any questions that you have. Don't skip out on the medical documents. These are just as important as your financial documents. The one thing we don't want to happen is for you to be at end of life and your family's huddled up in the corner over here and they're fighting over the care that they think that you might have wanted because nobody ever had the conversation with them. Nobody knows what to do. But if you have these documents in place, everything is set in stone. Everything is in order. That's why we do all of these documents. We're protecting your assets, your children, your health care. We're protecting it all. That's what we do every day at NetLaw. We've helped out hundreds of thousands of clients. So this was a high overview of NetLaw and estate planning. I hope you learned something. That's always my goal. I want everybody to walk away saying, hey, I learned something. But if you have any questions, this is the time to ask. Rami, let me turn it back over to you. And if anyone has any questions, we can go ahead and take care of those right now.
Yeah, if anyone has questions, please unmute and then, ask away. Mark, I have one question. So this HIPAA authorization. So say, for example, if a family has a kid who is like 15, they are
Yep.
still minor, but once the kid turns 15 or 16, the doctors don't, give the access directly to the parents now. The kids has to say yes for the parents to
Yeah. So anybody under the age of 18, mom and dad have full control over all decisions. You turn 18, then you need this plan for yourself so that you can name mom and dad as your healthcare surrogate, as your HIPAA authorization, as your power of attorney. So if you're underage, if you're under the age of 18, you don't need this because mom and dad have full rights to you.
Okay.
If you're over 18, you need to have a plan for yourself. That's why I always say that if you have kids that are going off into college or the workforce, they graduated high school, get them their plan too, because that keeps mom and dad in full control should something happen to the child.
Okay. So basically, anybody over 18, you would recommend to have this.
Absolutely. It's almost mandatory. There's no reason not to have this.
Okay, great. Thank you. Hari, you have a question?
Yes. Mark, the documents, whatever we are creating it from the NetLaw, it'll get notarized, right? So we will get the notarized. Have to apply it separately.
Yeah, you go through
And
the
we
software.
upload the notarized documents in the NetLaw, keep it as a repository.
Absolutely, absolutely. So in the NetLaw software, there is a tab called My Files.
Yes.
This is where you can create a folder. You're going to print out all of your documents and get them witnessed and notarized, scan them back into your folder, and that way you have a hard copy and you have digital copies that you can share with your executors, your trustees, your adult children, so that they have a copy of this should something happen to you. They don't have to go to your house and look for it. And where is it? Where did they put it? We don't know. We can't find it. They have a copy of it.
Thank you, Mark. Yes, because many people feel this is going to be as a hard copy, but it is definitely Netla has a repository also. And
Absolutely.
many times with the IT people or whoever is working, we are not going to be in the same state or location for our lifetime. So we keep moving.
Yeah,
There is
that's
a
exactly why the My Files
relocation.
section is so important.
Yes, because
It goes with you wherever you go.
that's true. And also this account for the users. When you go to the attorneys, every time you do a relocation, you have to reach the new set of attorneys or the people to pay
Mhm.
the fees and rework. Here,
Yeah,
all these are available on
yeah,
the
that's
your
right.
account, lifetime
Yeah,
account.
yeah.
Just
The times of
regenerate.
yeah, that's a great point, Harry. The times of going back and forth to attorneys, that's over. We don't need to do that anymore. We have a solution online that takes care of all of that.
Yep. Thank you, Mark. And there is a question. Yeah, we'll wait. Probably Sindhu
Yeah.
has hand raised and Gopal, then
That's
I'll
it.
go.
Sindhura, please go ahead and ask the question.
Yeah, I don't know if I missed along the lines, but I just wanted to know, will I also get the information about the things that I should do after creating a will and trust? Maybe I might change a beneficiary on my insurance, or
So that's
do I
really
need to
what
change the deed of my house?
mhm.
Things like that.
Yeah, so we have a funding instruction sheet
Yeah,
that walks you
go
through how
on.
to do
That's
all
fine.
that.
That's the question.
Yeah, so there is sheets in
Mhm.
there that will help you. But who invited you here tonight, Senator?
Um, on WhatsApp group. I have been on WhatsApp group for Oregon,
Yeah,
so
so I know
I've joined on it.
Ramya or
Yeah,
Harry
Yeah.
or Gokul will reach out
yeah,
to you. One
yeah.
of them will
Ramya,
reach out to
Ramya.
you. They're going to walk you through everything. They have links that they can send you to get started. They can help you. The best thing is in every NetLaw account, in the upper right-hand corner, there's a chat bar. If you hit that chat bar, you can talk to one of our representatives, and I've trained every one of them.
Great.
And what that does is you can chat with them and get all of your questions answered. But if we need to, we can turn that chat into a video call where we can see your screen, help you with everything. So we can answer all of your questions, whether it's about funding the trust, I got stuck answering a question, whatever you need, hit that chat bar and we can help you.
Got you. And just in case if both husband and wife have passed away, like you said, maybe in a car wreck or something, how are the guardians going to know? Like, okay, these are the next steps that you might need to follow, or this is the place that where you go, and they would help you out.
Yeah, they'll go to family court. They'll go to family court.
Mhm.
Someone will walk them through it, and they will go to family court. They will show that the will is completed, it's witnessed and notarized, and that they are the guardians, and then they will take custody of the kids.
And Sindhura, along those lines, right? So when you name somebody as a
Got you.
guardian, right? You do let them know
So,
that okay, they are part of it, right?
uh,
Your voice is breaking.
Actually, your voice is very choppy.
suggestion.
Actually, you come in and out.
Okay. Am I audible now?
Mm. You keep talking because so you suddenly just go
Okay.
complete off. Yeah, so it's like
Got it. So is it like suggestible that if I pick a guardian both here in US or maybe overseas as well together, because the court proceedings might take time, or maybe somebody from overseas might not be,
Right.
they have lives too, they can't stay here for long enough and wait for the court date to go and show up.
That's
Would that
right.
be
Yeah,
suggestible?
you want to name someone. You can name someone from overseas, but it's always best to name someone from your state, so that if
Yes.
anything happens right away, they can go grab the kids so they don't go to foster care.
Yes.
Perfect. Answers all my questions. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for the session. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah,
Thank you.
go.
Yeah, Mike. A couple of questions here, right? So one, can we or do we need to register the will and trust with the county, the local county, so that they are actually aware of the trust, right? At least, and they know that it exists. And in case of us passing away, there is some government record of trust and what needs to happen with the trust, right? So that's number one. And then number two, life has been so dynamic nowadays. So we know there is like a file section, but can we go back and update when things change, right? Maybe not the guarantor and trustee and the main important people, but then if there is some change to the assets, some change to what we owe and what we have, can we go and update it?
Absolutely. You can update it at any time, free of
Okay.
charge. Right. So you can edit your documents at any time, no matter where you are, what time it is, doesn't matter. You have full access to your account.
Okay. And the question is again, so the trust, do we need to register it with the county mandatorily?
No, not the trust. The will, yes. So
Okay.
either you can file it yourself when you create it, or you can have your executor do it upon your death. But usually most people have the executor do it. That way you're only doing it one time. Because remember, if you file it now and you go back and you edit your documents later, well, you got to go back and refile it again. Then 2 years later, you fix something else, and now you got to go refile it again. Just let your executor do it when you pass away, and you only have to do it one time. Just
Got it.
remember, keep good records. Here's the latest and greatest, right? So
Mhm.
yeah. So make sure that if you're scanning that back into your account, get rid of the old ones and only keep the new one.
And
Got it.
updating, they need to be notarized, isn't it, Mark?
Absolutely.
Yes, that's a key thing. Every single time an update is made, it's better. It's important to be notarized.
Mhm.
So okay.
Yeah. Uh,
Let's go cool. And we
okay,
have
Rossi, do you have a question?
Yes, I do. First, Mark, thank you for the information that you gave us.
Thank you.
I'm just trying to understand how this process works.
Okay.
I got invited through another WhatsApp group as well. So if we need to subscribe and then use the service, how do we do this? And I don't
Yeah.
see an option on the website for NetLaw for this.
Mhm. Yeah. So what's going to happen is Ramya or one of these agents will send you an email. And inside that email, there's going to be a lot of information in there. And
Okay.
then from there, you can go ahead and get the product and start creating your documents. That's step number one. And they'll walk you through everything. So you're not alone in this. So once you get the email, that's your really beginning spot. You'll go through, create all of your documents, print them out, get them witnessed and notarized, scan the documents back into your account, and get the assets transferred into your trust, and you're done. The whole process can be done in one day.
Oh, okay. Sounds great. Thanks. Can I ask you one another follow-up question?
Sure.
So again, I'm trying to convince myself that this is the best option for me. So I did my research and trying to figure out. So don't read this as a question that is going against this idea, right? Reading reviews about NetLaw, and I see the point that is made against NetLaw is that there is no attorney to go with it. So there is no way that this trust that is will, everybody says, if you want to create a will, yes, NetLaw can do that. But if you are creating a trust and you need to actually think through all these options, and then just throwing a bunch of questions is not going to cut it. That's the that's a talk against why we shouldn't go for NetLaw. How do we actually answer that? Like, help us understand. Talk.
And yeah, it's a great question. And I love when people put that out on the website. And you wouldn't think that I would say that. But right there is someone who did not, like you, they didn't do their research. You did your research and you went, they didn't. They assumed something and put a bad review on there. So here's the reason. We do have attorneys. We have attorneys in every state. So attorneys have created this whole software. So when you say that there are no attorneys, that is blatantly false.
Okay.
So attorneys have come in and created this software in every state. If you want to talk to an attorney, I can get you an attorney to talk to. Now, they're going to charge you more because this process is without an attorney.
Mhm.
Just like doing your taxes online with TurboTax. You're not talking to a CPA.
Mhm.
Unless you want to, then you pay extra. That's exactly how this is. So I wish that person would have kind of reached out to us before putting that on there. You know, we can't help that. But I'm glad that you came here tonight so I could answer that questions to make sure that you have the full understanding of what net law is.
Okay, appreciate it. Thanks for entertaining the question.
Mm-hmm. Harry?
No, Mark, I just want to add that point, right? Because this attorneys, as Mark has mentioned, this is built by the attorneys because there are every state has a standard template or the whatever the document that has been instead of person to person or law firm to firm changing, they have come up with the what is a regulated one. It is all in the system has been built. Okay.
Yeah, the
And
biggest thing is we were created out of an attorney's office. So we have attorneys. Now, you know, they're not directly associated with us. They're on the Hargrove firm side, which is our parent company. That's how I can get attorneys to talk to you in all 50 states.
Yeah.
So anytime you want to talk to an attorney, you let me know and I'll make sure that you talk to one.
Okay. Yes. So just one more questions in the chat group, Mark.
Yeah.
Is this enforceable? Can we add this trust of properties both USA and abroad? That is India.
Sure. Yeah.
And
Now, remember, these documents are not enforceable in India. These are only US documents. But your assets in India, go ahead and put them in your US trust. And I say that because I want to make sure that your executor knows everything that you have. They may know everything that you have here in the US, but they may have forgot about something over in India. But if you put those assets into the US will, not the trust, just the will, so it lists out all of your assets, everything gets transferred at one time. It's just like a will in India is not enforceable over here. These documents are only US documents.
but it can be referenced to India account for references because later if they want to, right? Because whoever you
Absolutely.
want to execute it, they will not have anything as a papered or documented until
Yeah. It's just saying that I have a house in India and here's who's going to get it. That's it. That's all it says.
Like a placeholder, right?
But you still have to follow India law because that's where the house is at. And for not just India, anywhere, any other country.
Yeah. Any country for that matter. Okay. So it's basically like you're listing those items. So it's all in one place, but then it will be like enforceable in that particular country, wherever that asset is. And because it's
Exactly.
So instead of you do not have nothing, so you will have something for other countries, but definitely for USA, you have a notarized, authorized document. For other countries abroad, this can be as a reference so that the respective local laws or government policies can be executed.
Yes.
Yep.
And Mark, can you just go through that, like, how Netla documents, how does it look and everything? I know we have shown it before. How easy it's used to.
Yeah, give me 1 second. Let me pull up one of the accounts here.
Yep. So in the meantime, I just want to add Marcus, who has asked, hey, how do we start us? Yes, you can reach any one of us, either Ramya or me, Zahari or Gokul. So we can help you to initially set it up and what are the documents that's needed, how you can start with. Wherever you are stuck, we can also reach out to the Netla team and then give references. So that's how we are licensed in the respective states and across the US also. so that we can help you on that.
We will guide you through the process, and Srinivasan, you mentioned, right? So even for getting the trust, we would also help you with that.
Yeah.
You would still pay the fees, that would be extra for registering in the county and everything, but we will help you with the process.
Right. So this is what the NetLaw system actually looks like. There's 4 tabs over here that we use: My Profile, Family and Contacts, the Smart Guide Interviews, and My Files. My Profile is just that. Who are you? And this is my demo account. So your name, are you male or female, and your birthday, and where do you live? So the last time I played in this, I was from New Jersey. So it's going to pull up New Jersey documents, right? So if you ever move, this is great to see. Let's say that I move and I move to Texas. So I could put Dallas, Texas here. Then the software will stop. It will update the Texas documents. And then you go back and you fill in your documents again. And then it asks, is your shipping address the same as your residence? If we ever need to mail you anything, we're going to mail it to your residential address. Yes or no? If no, put in the address that you want. You hit finish, it automatically takes you to the second tab, Family and Contacts. This is everybody who is going to play a role in your documents. Everyone. So this is your beneficiaries, your executors, your successor trustees, your spouses, your kids, everybody, right? So I'll just show you down here in the bottom right-hand corner. If we click this little circle, and then we can hit other, and I'll just add one real quick. I'll just put these, my cousin.
You like famous people, Mark?
Huh?
You like famous people? You want Tom Brady to be your cousin? Okay.
Yeah, I've got a pretty good family.
Yeah.
I wish. And then finish. And then boom, he pops in right there. Easy, right? We do that for everybody. Then we go to the Smart Guide Interviews, and this is where we're going to create our documents. So over here is all of our documents: our will and our trust, our power of attorney, and our healthcare documents. And down here is our My Files section. So we'll go back up real quick. Go to Will and Trust. Here's me. Here's my wife. Check mark just let you know whose account you're setting up. This will say start when you first start, but of course this is my demo, so we're going to go back and we can edit it. It's going to ask you if you want to do a joint trust. You and your spouse can do one joint trust. That means every asset that you have that's going into the trust is going to be owned jointly by husband and wife. If you don't want that, you can click no here, and you can create your trust, and your spouse can create their trust. Most people do the joint trust because they're usually on the houses and the cars and everything jointly. Then we're going to go to our executors. Great thing about this, over here on the right-hand side, frequently asked questions. Why am I filling out this page? Your executors, remember, those are the people who are going to be in charge when you pass away. Not only can you name one person, you can add multiple people in here. Or you can go back and you can edit it at any time and take somebody out. And then you always have your successors, your backups. Your successors have 4 options. Multiple people serving together, that means they all have to agree, or majority wins. Or you can do multiple people that you can name, but each serving after the other. So the first person's it. If they can't do it, it falls to the second person. If they can't do it, it falls to the third person. Then one successor or no successors. Then we have our guardians. Who's going to take care of our kids? And successors. You are always the trustee of your account for as long as you're alive. And then you name your successors. Once me and Donna pass away, Jacob's going to take over. Or I could do multiple people. If you have any pets, you can start a pet trust. Here's your device, your personal residence. This is your primary residence. This is the same address I put in my profile section. How's the property owned? Jointly? Owned just by me? Owned just by Donna? And replacement property means if I ever buy another house, is that house taking the place of this house? If it is, great. If it's not, click no. Maybe you're just buying another house for rental properties or something like that. And then down below is where we click our beneficiaries. See how I did 2 people? So you can split it. It doesn't have to be just one person. It can be multiple people, 50% apiece. If you own other real estate, and this goes back to the question that was just asked, can I put property from overseas? Here you go. I have a house in India. Not personally, but you get what I'm saying. Maybe one day.
Yeah.
Specific bequest. These are all of the assets that I have. Cars, life insurance, gold, my 401k, watches, bank accounts. I try to put as many as in here as I could think about. Businesses. And then we name our beneficiaries. Your residuary assets are everything that I didn't list on the previous page. They all go to my children, or I can name another person or charity to receive it when I pass away. You can omit children. If you have a child that you don't want them to receive anything, you can omit them. And the descendants trust is that child's trust. Remember where I talked about I can set it up to where they will receive it in installments or all at a later date. So they can all receive it all at 21, all at 25, or you can break it up 25 and 30, 25, 30, and 35. These are the 4 most popular choices in our law firm. Ultimate disposition means that your spouse and your kids all passed away before you did. You're the last one alive. Now you pass away. Where do you want your assets to go? You can just leave it to your heirs at law. It will be split between your family, your closest living relatives. Or you could do a 50-50 split between your closest living relatives and your spouses. Or again, you can give it to another person or a charity. You hit finish, you just created your will and trust. What takes about 2 hours in our law firm takes you about 20 to 30 minutes here. Once that's done, because you created your will and trust as a joint trust for your spouse, you can go back and click last will and click her. You don't want to create 2 trusts because you did a joint trust. Then you go back, you do your health care the same way and your power of attorney. All of your documents will show up in your My Files section. And you can see from these 3 dots, I can download as a PDF, print it out, get it witnessed and notarized. What questions do we have about this? I know I got about 5 minutes left. I have to get to our next meeting.
Mark, I think there is a question in the chat.
The
Does
question
that
Okay, let me go to it.
Does the trust protect the assets in the trust from litigation?
No, this is just a probate avoidance trust. This is just a probate avoidance trust. This is just to make sure that your assets get to your beneficiaries right away. What you're looking for there is an asset protection trust. That protects your assets from bankruptcy, slip and falls, anything like that.
And what are the tax implications?
None. This is a revocable trust, so there's no tax implications. Your taxes will be filed the same way that you do them now in your individual name.
Okay, awesome. I think that's all they have. So in the case of joint trust, will the one of the spouse be still creating the last will or just having?
So the first spouse that creates their will and the joint trust,
Mhm.
the second spouse will just create their will.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. I think that covered everything. I don't see any other questions. Yes. Okay.
Will someone reach out to us based on the registration? We don't have contact information for Ramya.
You
Hari.
you do have, it's in the flyer, but I will reach out to you, Srinivasan.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I'll definitely do that. And
Appreciate all the information. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, sir.
yeah, thank you so much, Mark, for staying and explaining everything,
Yeah, no.
so that everybody understands, and answering all our questions.
Right. No, that's what I'm here for.
Thank you so much. And thanks
Yeah.
everyone for taking the time and attending the session.
Yeah.
And if you as you can see, will and trust is very important. If you please share the information with your friends and family, because this is something that coming from many people coming from India don't even have the knowledge that we need to have will and trust here. Because in India, it's usually like within the relatives, they will just come in and then do it. That's not the case here. The county gets involved, the state gets involved, so it's different ball game here in US. So it is important. So please share with your friends and family, because you do care for them, right? Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day.
Sure.
Good night.
Thank you all.
Thank you.